up here as I thought. It only took like 20 minutes, so not too terrible. So this field, get the plow unlocked here real quick. It's roughly 20 acres, give or take. We'll know more once I plan it and see what the monitor says, but for the most part, it's a nice rectangle. There's a homestead right there, and then there's a little dork that goes back out to the road on the other side of that homestead. And then there's a little dork that kind of goes back behind this woods a little bit. But other than that, for the most part, it's a really nice rectangle. Sandier ground. It's been no-till for forever. So we're gonna change that here. My buddy Nick was farming it, and due to some life circumstances, he had to get out of farming basically altogether after this season. So he put my name in for it, and I got it, which turns out the guy that well, the guy and his wife that own it, it's actually the guy's wife. This was her family's farm. They owned, I think it ended up being broken up. I can't remember how many pieces. I thought she said it was like 125 or something total, but there was a couple of parcels down this side of the road, and I think she said they owned a piece on the other side of the road over there. But for the most part, it was a contiguous. I think it was, she said it was like 120, 130, somewhere in there. And then after the kids, or then after they got out of farming, the kids each got a piece of it, and this was her piece. But the guy, the husband, actually worked with my dad at a place down in South Bend. He was he drew technical publications for the machines that they built. So small world, and they watch my channel. So, but anyhow, the only thing really that's going to change over short term, you see that thicket of trees right there? That actually used to be farmable. The lady, she actually is still fairly up on ag, and she's kind of fun to talk. They're both kind of fun to talk to, but she basically gave me the entire rundown. I basically walked into this and knew everything. It was kind of pleasant, actually. But that used to be farmable, and now there's a brush pile in there, and all those trees grew up. But basically, she said a tile broke in there, and the guy that farmed it before Nick was supposed to fix it, and he never fixed it. And then the brush pile ended up getting put there, and all the trees grew up, and then it just never got fixed. So hopefully this winter we don't get too stinking wet, and I can get the Mini up here, and we can burn that pile, get all those trees ripped out, get all the scrub cleaned up, and get the tile found. And then hopefully this summer come back up here, because working on tile this time of year sucks. It's cold, it's nasty, it's muddy. But get it cleaned up so that hopefully when things slow down, like end of July, beginning August time frame, get back up here with the Mini, find the tile, fix it, hopefully get that spot draining, and then we can farm through it instead of having to farm around it. And then that'll make this a really nice, easy to farm field. So, but it's like I say, it hasn't been worked in a long time, and so we're gonna take care of that. The people that own this have kind of been run through the ringer on. Nick didn't do anything, but the guy before him, I've heard the name before, but there's a couple different families. I think it's all one family, but I think it's one of those deals where at one point they all farmed together, but they hated each other, and then the family got a divorce, and I think half the family went this way and half the family that went this way, and they all still farm. But the guy before Nick really kind of put them through the ringer. I guess he rented it for a long time, and turns out that there was a point in there where he was actually subleasing it to another farmer without the landowners knowing. There was a few times some trees went down in the back and into the crop, and he charged them for cleaning up the trees, which I've never heard anybody doing that before. Cleaning up trees is just part of farming the ground. A tree falls down, you go clean it up because it's in your way. That's just the way it is. They've been run through on land renters, we'll put it that way. So, but it's a nice, decent sized piece of ground. It's the dirt up here in this area is really good dirt. It's got a couple, this spot obviously here along the road lays wet, but that's because there's supposed to be a ditch there, and as you can see, it's all sedimented shut, and the county doesn't dig ditches around here because, or clean ditches around here because they might actually have to do some work. So, you know, I'd say better than probably, I'm not gonna say 50%, but probably like 35-40% of our problems around here with ground being wet are directly related to the county not doing their job and taking care of all the ditches and the county drains. Easily that much of it. Well, you know a field hasn't been worked in a while when you got roots growing this big, this close to the surface that you can hit them with a chisel plow. Oh, you're gonna be fun to get off. You speared right through the center, didn't you? Shit. Okay, I got this whole side worked off, so I can start going the other way. I'm a thinking, oh hey, I'm a thinking that this old tile is a lost cause. Somebody's dug a big ass hole here that's got water standing in it, which I'm guessing is where all these clay chunks or tile chunks came from. They probably came out of that hole. So there's a big hole there, and then over by the ditch there's another big ass blowhole, or somebody dug a hole, either or. I didn't get out to look at it, but I almost dropped the tractor in because I was turning around in the grass. It's like, oh shit. And I saw at least another couple littler holes. So I'm thinking the game plan changed from fixing that old tile to just digging in a new one. It's going to be a whole lot less effort and less screwing around, and you know you'll have a working tile. Because with the Mini and having Grandpa's dozer, I bet, and that can't be more than what, 50 yards tops. Maybe a couple $100 in tile in your time, and you'd have a brand new tile in and you wouldn't have to worry about it. So that might be what we end up doing, but definitely need to do something because farming around this thing's a bitch. the way it's shaped and the way it constricts everything over here, it just, that needs to go away. So anyhow, onwards to the dry side of the field. Done. It feels like a lot more than 20 acres, but I guess we'll find out. For now, I'm going to keep farming it the way it's been being farmed, which is north-south, but I think once we get that wet hole down there on the other side taken care of, I'm going to change direction and start farming it east and west, make long rows. Maybe, we'll see. we'll see how I feel about it when that time actually comes. So anyhow, I guess since we got some daylight, go back down around home and try to catch a few more, or a couple more fields. I got a little 2-acre patch I want to do, and then if I got, see what time it is, get done there, might go try to finish up that field I got rained out of the other night. Just made a round on this field, and it's acting more like what I would have expected the ground around here to be like. Honestly, a little piece in town, that worked up. If everything was like that field, we'd be golden, but this doesn't even really look good behind the plow. Oh, that's way too wet to be working. That's like snot. Yep, I think we're done for the day. This is what I expected to see. I didn't figure I was going to be able to do that one in town, but that one worked really good. I wasn't even getting anything on the tires. This one, not so much. So, but got more ground chiseled today than I initially expected, because I didn't expect to be doing any today. So I guess go ahead and call it quit. Run that thing back, top it up with fuel, and take it to my house and put it in the barn, because if it's going to rain all week, there's no sense in it sitting outside anymore. And if it's going to rain all week, today might have been our last hoorah chisel plowing anyhow. So, unless it gets dry again in December. So we got rain every day this week. Tomorrow's a real good chance. Yeah, tomorrow 90% chance, Tuesday 60, Wednesday 40, Thursday 80, Friday 50. Then we got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, no rain. Then next week, rain Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we got snow in the forecast after that. So today might have been our last shot at chisel plowing, unfortunately. But is what it is. We're still in better shape than we were this time last year. This time last year we still had corn out. I think I still had beans out. I might have been done with beans by this weekend last year. But we certainly didn't have any chisel plowing done. And we only had 8 acres of wheat in the ground. This year we got almost 25 acres of wheat in the ground. Harvest is completely done, and we've got 23 down there, and 11, and 11, and then 20 up there. Pushing 80 acres chisel plowed. So, but with the rain this week, I think I've got some more new ground that I picked up that I need to get soil sampled before I chisel it. So I'm going to try to get that done this week. And since we are probably going to be out of the field for the foreseeable future, probably going to try to get a material list around and look at getting material ordered to start on my barn loft, because I'd like to have that done before the first of the year, and then we'll start working on the mechanical stuff after the first of the year. That way I can put that on next year's taxes. So, and if I get an evening this week when it's not raining, I'm going to try to get the 270 power washed. So we got a hot washer at the house. So I want to get that washed before it goes to its winter home, so that it's clean when we start working on it. And then, yeah, unless we can get back to chisel plowing, probably between now and Christmas, it's probably going to be barn loft, working on tree lines if we can, or if weather allows, and kind of going that route. So anyhow, I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.